The chat room is a place that we can discuss our issues as people and things that happen to us on a daily basis that we are so afraid to talk about as a people, with your friends, with your family. So we will be asking this question, discussing them, and seeing how we can make a difference as a people by simply having the conversation. So in this first vlog, I want us to talk about wellness and balance. Wellness and balance. So imagine living your life so everywhere. You don't know, you don't have anything together. So for instance, do you ever feel at one point that your life is overwhelming? Like you don't have anything together. You can get a hold of your finances, you can get a hold of anything, you're just everywhere. So we all desire to live a quality life. A quality life is a life that you necessarily don't have one area of your life overwhelming the other. For instance, imagine doing so well in your job but failing so miserably in your family life, or the vice versa. Or for instance, you do so well in your family, you do so well in your job, but you got no social circle. Or maybe you have everything else together except your environment. So we will terms of wellness include there's the emotional dimension, then there is the social dimension, there's the environment dimension, there's the intellectual dimension, there is the finance. I don't know if I said that. Yeah. So these dimensions of wellness is where we get our balance. Balance. You need to be able to have a balanced life such that one area of your life doesn't overwhelm you. So so let's talk about the dimensions that make your life a little well balanced. One of the most crucial dimension is your emotions, the emotional dimension. Do you have your emotions together? Most of us don't, and especially us ladies, we go through some hormonal changes every now and then, and we don't have our emotions together. So on the emotional dimension, sometimes you're overwhelmed. You find yourself the emotions of fear overwhelming you, or for instance, you have this feeling like everything is negative. How do you make sure that your emotions don't run you? How do you make sure that your emotions aren't controlling everything else? Because if you don't have the emotional dimensions together, imagine everything else will feel. Because the emotion, this is the problem with the emotional dimension. It controls such a huge area in your life, such that it doesn't matter how well together you got a lot of other things. If you're emotionally destabilized, you will definitely have to suffer. That's why you see some, for instance, the emotional dimension brings about anxiety, depression, and these other mental issues that we are always talking about, because we haven't gotten the emotional balance that we need. So how do we do that? How do we get our emotions together? How do we get the balance to make sure that our emotions don't run us? That whenever things aren't, for instance, if your finances are so out of place, that shouldn't control your emotions. You should be able to find a way to deal with your finance issue without it affecting your emotional balance. The reason I started with the emotional dimension is because it runs so many of us. For instance, most of us feel like, you know, I am this age, I haven't done this. I am 30 now, I should have by now. I am 40 now, I should have by now, but I haven't. So now that you haven't, instead of taking your time to try and do what you haven't, you find your emotions are all over the place. And instead of you actually doing it, you just get depressed. So that is one of the crucial issues.